centralized salary structure that the public servants have. And I think that's one of the reasons why you have lecturers having that challenge, that they've got intellectual assets that are stuck within a payment structure. A professor should be able to invent stuff and become a multimillionaire while lecturing. And I don't see any reason why that can happen. But as long as you keep them to a tiny salary structure and you say that they are stuck to it, then the innovation that you should expect from such people are stymied, so to speak. My own thinking, and the way I would suggest that from a party point of view, is that we should have a centralized salary structure from level 1 to level 7, just to protect the more junior staff. They are sure of their salary. Regardless of what happens, they are sure of their pension. But I think from level 8 graduates till about level 12 or 13, payment should be based on performance. There should be a very good performance where if you don't get KPI, you don't get fully paid, you might get OTE on target earning. Give you a minimum, then you get extra because of, every month your performance then from level 14 and above, I think these people should negotiate the salaries. And as far as I'm concerned, they're like senior management staff in organizations. If you don't produce, from that point on, the government should be able to sack them. So if you see, when we make people negotiate their salaries and we give them very clear KPIs, performance biased payment, people are going to tend to want to, for example, you don't just say you are going to get paid regardless of what you do. That is not going to get the best out of a public servant. You're going to get paid whether you have a PhD or you have a first degree and you're at the same level. Now, why would I want to study if I'm going to get paid the same amount and my pension is going to be the same, even though I produce more than you? That doesn't happen in industry. So what is a lot of people stuck with this? Hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people stuck in the public system who are just there, basically just from 1st of January, 1st of the month to the 20th, 28th, 22nd, 20, whatever their salaries are paid. And their heart is not in it because they are not having to be paid for their performance. So I think that we should not go and see. Let me tell you one strange thing. We are practicing an American democracy with a British public service. we inherited a public service that was established along the lines of the British parliamentary system, and all the reforms that we have come up with, most of it have not been implemented. So essentially, we have a dichotomy which makes it difficult for us to really, really reward people for their performance.
It's just it's crazy. But I want to open up the phone lines. I want to hear from Lagos, and you don't have to be a Lagosian. If you're listening to us via our mobile application, you're listening to us from outside of the country, you're listening to us from anywhere in the country, let's talk about the civil service menace and how can these loopholes be plugged. IPPIS has been introduced. Seems like it's failed. What must be done to prevent because whether we like it or not, 70,000 ghost workers, that's a lot of that's like across many ministries, departments and agencies. But I want to hear from you, Lagos. The phone lines are open. My guest is here, George Ashiru. We're talking about the rot in the civil service. What has been your experience, if you have had one? And if you actually have worked or work in the civil service, what exactly do you think can be done? Or maybe you are one of those people who are benefiting from, not showing up to work and doing the wrong thing. But we want to hear your thoughts. 0201 277 0993, 0201 277 1993, 0201, I beg your pardon, 277 2993 and 0201 277 3993. You could join the conversation on WhatsApp 08095975805. If you're listening from outside of the country, join us via Skype. We are Nigeria Info FM. Would love to hear from you. Keep it at 60 seconds, okay? Hello, welcome to Hard Facts.
Hello, Maryann. Good afternoon. This is Mena from Vesta.
Hi, Mena.
Happy Eid.
Same to you.
This operation that you just talked about, I object, is not ghost working, it's remote work.
Indeed.
Maryann, seriously, we're in a mess. As in, we have things to clear both on the civil service side and on the government side. On the civil service side, we need to deal with these ghost workers. And then on the government side, honestly, this one that wants to become civil service, we can't afford it, but you can afford 2 more jets, one for president, one for vice. Can they share 1 jet? Do they need more jets when they have 12? And I don't understand how people will spend so much years in university, then you'll be paying them 30,000. Then some people that will do rough and grab it and run away, they'll be earning millions. We have serious work to do.
Thank you, Mena, for calling. I do appreciate it. Hello, welcome to Hard Facts.
Good morning, Maryann. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. I know it's raining outside. It looks like it's morning. It's okay. Enjoy yourself.
Maryann.
Yes.
It is shocking that.
Tell me your name first now.
This is Malik speaking.
All right,
Only
Malik.
one person. Now, you say they're cheap and I like that for you.
Go ahead.
Maryann, even in the defense sector, you could still find ghost worker.
No.
I am telling you, even in the embassy, where we have in abroad, you can still find ghost workers. Do you know why? When the next person comes and find out that there are, for example, now I have 300 staffs and maybe 60 are ghost workers. I will start those 60s and employ 120 as ghost workers because I want to earn more than the former person in that office.
Really?
That is why in every government that comes in, you find that the corruption is more than the former government. I want to be richer than the other person. Nobody technique anything. That is why the PAMSEC are so richer than the governors.
Wow.
The PAMSECs are richer than the governors.
Interesting.
The PAMSEC are meant to checkmate the governors. But we all want to play the dice and say, I must cash out. That is why I keep saying that. The elderly one teach the older one how to swim.
Does it mean that the fingers that we're pointing at politicians, the rest are pointing to us because we're also part and parcel of the problem?
Are worse than the politicians.
Oh, wow.
Go to your local government and you open your mouth.
Okay.
If you say autonomy today.
Okay, Malik. Thank you very much for calling. Wow, interesting times. Hello.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
So this is Joy.
Hi, Joy.
I'm calling from Vilegba. Happy Salah.
Joy, happy Salah. Are you a civil servant?
No. I'm not a civil servant, but I see that.
Why you say no, like it's a bad thing? I used to be a civil servant, a proud one.
No, so you're not asking me a question like somebody who,
what are you afraid of? Oh yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so what my contribution is this because I also go to places where the civil servants also work. Mm-hmm. So for me, I feel the government deliberately do not want it to work. They know that it's rot in the system, and because they benefit from it, they just look away. So once or twice, they just do as if they are working. Is it now they knew that we have 72,000 ghost workers? It's not today now. That means you as the government, all of you there are all incompetent because if you're workers, if you are paying somebody like you have a company and you don't know that people you're paying for are not actually coming to work, you're just realizing. This is not the first time we're hearing, oh, we have these ghost workers, ghost workers, it hasn't gone. Why? My own is this. They refuse to enshrine what's it called? Computer-based, how will I put it, system in the civil service. And if you see all these civil servants, they hate anything that has to do with computer. They hate it. Because that is where you see how somebody clocks in and how you clock out. You can easily check. You can easily
because where I work, you have to clock in and out. And if you don't clock in, you didn't come to work. But then who's to say that you cannot clock in also biometric wise and then still go out and be selling puff?
There is always a way you find out.
How?
Computers, the system does not lie. You get the best of software to be able to.
Joy, I disagree with you. I can come to my office at any time of the day, clock in, and then disappear. It doesn't. It will show you. The computer would show you that I clocked in. Does not mean that I worked.
Yes. At the end, there's a way you'll be able to read the duration of time you are in the office. That system should capture if your organization wants it to work that way. Maybe they didn't put that kind of device. A system that will be able to show that you are logged in. When you are logged in into your system, it keeps to read that you are there in that system. So
okay.
You have a supervisor who is also minding.
Joyce, you're also trying to you're presuming that everyone in the civil service will have access to a computer where they're logged in. Not everybody will have that. I mean, not even I have that in my office.
But I said they don't want to. They deliberately do not want to. They don't want to learn. They don't want to go for training. Okay. Maybe they cannot learn it. They can. But they know that this is a way to which they can be seen in whatever thing that they do. Somebody makes payments. How do you know somebody has made payments? There should be a system to capture all these things. But they just refused it. Nobody wants it to work.
Okay.
If they actually want it to work, the system, the civil service, how does it work every other places in the world? How do you think it works?
Okay.
So
all right.
You start from the head level. What's the level? Highest level. All those ones from level 8. Those ones that went to school. You start from all those ones and start to lay them off.
All right.
From there, I think everybody sits right. Nobody
Okay.
comes to just
Thank you,
collect
Joy.
money and don't work.
Thank you, Joy, for calling. Interesting conversation. Hello.
Hi, Maryann.
Yes, Rapro, Dedi.
I
Let me
greet
look for
you.
your
I greet
trouble.
your guest.
I greet you too.
I greet your guest.
He can hear you.
This Shama.
He can hear you.
I said, what is his name?
Mr. Ashiru.
Okay, Mr. Ashiru, I greet you.
Thank you,
See,
sir.
the top organs, they are the ones that allow these ghost workers, they cover them up.
How?
Even the law enforcement agent that stop this mess. They see them involved in this. They cover them up. You see a policeman come to work. You leave that work and go for other business. So go and do escorting work for a businessman. He escort them. Is it not the guy in the office that cover him up? Who are taking the money of the ghost workers? Who don't come to work? And
Rapro, let me shock you. Those so-called ghost workers actually receive pay. Most of them receive pay. They receive salary, but they don't come to work.
People are covering them up because they don't show up in work. Some are abroad, some are in the country. But they don't show up. They go for other businesses, for other work. But people cover them up. No data, no good process, nothing.
Okay.
Is it not corruption to the highest level?
Okay.
So it's high time we stop this.
All right. Thank you very much.
You get your pay. If you don't work, go and collect where you work.
Okay.
And not having 10 works at a time.
Okay.
Man.
Thank you very much. I can tell the pain in your voice. But I want to come back to you, Mr. Yu. The point that Joy made, I really vehemently don't think that it will work. Someone is saying they should put CCTVs everywhere. Well, that's another amount of money that we're going to waste. But, I mean, let's talk about the realistic ways of checkmating these people while they work, if they come to work.
Yeah, I mean, the current head of, I think one of the ministers in the government, I'm trying to remember the name, Esson or so. I think she's made some comments of recent that they're digitizing the public service. But this is digitizing has been going on for decades. The issue is, like you said about Servicom, the issue is the attitude of the public service. You see, digitization of the passport issuance system has existed for years, but you will still not be able to receive your passport until you go there and you meet somebody to fast track it. So what we're saying is that there's a resistance to technology. There's a resistance to everything that you want to put in place to checkmate wastage in the system, corruption in the system. There's a resistance. So part of this resistance also has to do with the fact that we have an unwieldy civil service, hundreds and hundreds of MDAs, a lot of people who are probably not, they don't have a business working in government or for government. And so when you have a lot of those kinds of people, they are afraid that, and so, some people might even go behind the back and say, oh, God, you can take up for my salary. Just don't, make them not sack me. And therefore, the Oga will ensure the system does not work. Wow. Now, technology has already existed, like she said, all over the world. Companies are using them. Clock in or clock out, you can log in even with your phone, the one you used to look at Twitter or X, whatever it's called. You can log in using any kind of technology adopted to say, I'm working remotely. I'm not physically at work today, but I'm working remotely. Your boss can see what you're doing by giving you specific tasks and putting this roadmap where you have green, amber, and red. So he can tell if you have finished the task or you have not finished the task. So really, we shouldn't even be bothering about people being in the office. We should be focused on the objectives we give them and then meeting those objectives. That is the most important thing. Again, like I said, we have to move the public service away from carrying analog system where the evidence of your ability to work is your presence. But those who are present, but they are not productive. So we really need this. Focus more on objectives-based performance, objective-based remuneration. and then you get your earnings associated with it. And we can start that with those MDAs that are profit centers, that are revenue centers, like customs, like immigration. They
Oh, I'm so sorry, Mr. Ashiru. Your internet is going on and off, so we can't really hear you. Your internet is disconnecting and reconnecting. We'll try and bring you back once your internet stabilizes, but it's just going on and off. So let's take a few more calls and then we'll come back to you. Hello. Hello.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. What's your name? Hello. Where are you calling from?
Yeah, Kimbo is my name.
Hello, Mr. Kimbo. How are you?
I'm fine. I'm not enjoying holiday.
Haha, there's no holiday for me. We are here.
It's good. Yes, you see, the corruption in our system comes in diverse forms and shapes. Let me tell you about two that I know quickly. There was a young man who got a job from an individual, and the job after it, he made 1 million, and he was rejoicing. But a top guy in one of the ministries called him and said, "We want you to do that same job you did for that man." You wouldn't believe it that at the end of the day, the same job, the same specification, he made 25 million. Just because that is true. He said the man gave him the amount to quote.
Oh.
For the job.
Oh.
That is what we are facing. Then the second one, in one of the ministries, somebody was asked to supply some items. Let's say Maryann Nigeria Limited.
Mm-hmm.
He supplied it, he got paid. These other companies were asked to turn in their papers without supplying anything, and they get paid the same amount.
Wow.
Which means, yes, 5 other people. That is the system we operate here. So the civil servants are masters of the game when it comes to corruption. Not just the politicians.
Interesting.
Nigeria, like you always ask in your program, now who really did us? You always ask that person, who do us like this?
Well, I think we have a hand in it. But thank you very much, Mr. Kimbo, for calling. Let me read some messages that are coming in. Very interesting messages, I must say. Someone here says, this civil service enjoyment galore for them to go to local government. You will see them sewing clothes, breaking egusi, and you say, "Man, I want to register for ID card." Oga, come back. Lights no day. John from Ota. I mean, I'm gonna tell you, I've not necessarily had great experiences at local government. Because you go there, they'll say, "Bring money to go and look for the file. Bring money to do this one. Bring money to photocopy. Bring money to." How is this local government office functioning if I'm going to have to pay for everything? But you can't blame them, because if you go to the hospital nowadays, you buy your own bandage, you buy your own scissors, you literally buy everything. So yes, we have a rot in the system generally. Ayo from Akure says, the IPPIS has failed because it's been sabotaged by those working and their CEOs and permanent secretaries in all the MDAs. They work hand in glove with IPPIS staff to read ghost workers in absentia after every annual screening process done to filter out ghost workers. Let screening processes be fully automated and human factor free, then everybody will fall in line. Ayo, I think I cannot tell your line. This one says, "Hello, Maryann. My uncle, who is and was a civil servant, relocated to the United Kingdom 2 years ago. He still earns in Nigeria till today. Whenever he gets his alert, he sends half to his boss in Nigeria and takes half. The boss covers for him in signing, etc. That's how it's shared. Ha. Hey. Now, wow. Hey. This one says, CCTVs will capture when you leave the office. Digital systems can reduce to the least minimum the impunity. Okay. This one says, hello, Maryann. Greetings to you. As for ghost workers in Nigeria, people are really funny and invented this ghost working attitude, and it can never stop, no matter how cleansing the president, okay, no matter how the cleansing, okay. He says the president has to stop spending our tax monies cruising on presidential lodge. He wants to rebuild the Hustle Rock for 4 billion naira and buy I'm sure you mean Ashiru Rock, and buy a new airplane. This is ridiculous. Wicked government. Dampy, thank you. This one says, Maryann, ghost walking will never stop in Nigeria because what Nigerians cannot do does not exist. If you like, use AI, use CCTV. It's like you have repented by giving your callers more time to talk. Wow. Excuse you. He now says, okay, well, thank you, Daniel. Thank you. All right, this one says, Henry from Ogun State says, like I always say, the major problems of Nigeria is not the political emperors, but the civil servants and the judiciary. These two sectors, and Nigeria, he says, I'm sure you missed something. He probably says if we deal with the two sectors, Nigeria will see a tremendous positive development because the political emperors are just 20% of our problem. Henry, Ogun State. This one says, sincerely, your guest has spoken real fact, and that is no doubt about it. But here, I want to tell you, Maryann, that if we deploy technology, especially now that we have artificial intelligence, if the government is being sincere enough from the top to the list and deploy this, what does that mean? Okay, so he says LLMS. It's called Large Language Models, or IEM, which is even trending as one now. Okay, large action movies. Wow, your message is incoherent, but I'm thinking you're saying, Alex, we should use AI. Thank you very much. When you send me these messages, read them before you send them, I beg. Toby from Ikotu says, we even get ghost coppers. Abi, no, our attitude needs to change. Well, I think when I was having this conversation before I came on air, my colleagues were also, talking about the fact that there are ghost corps members. This one says, Maryann, please can Mr. Ashiru give reasons for civil service corruption so that maybe beyond technology it can be curbed? Temidayo from Idimu. Mr. Ashiru, over to you, sir.
Thank you very, very much. That's actually an unbelievably good question. And it comes down to what I said earlier, that if you don't pay people livable wages, you are opening them up to corruptibility. Mm-hmm. We've heard stories of people in Abuja working at the federal government who are earning maybe 150,000, 160,000 at level 9, which is equivalent of a master's degree level. Mm-hmm. And they are spending 250,000 naira to get to work and take care of their accommodation and their feeding. So basically, they are running at a loss, but they are working, which makes them patriots. Now, where do you expect them to have the shortfall to take care of their needs? So it's either government is going to come up with free accommodation for all public servants all over the country. If they can accommodate all soldiers, mm-hmm. all Air Force personnel, Navy personnel, certainly you can accommodate all your public servants from the money you save from all the other things, all the other corruptibility activities. Then if you provide buses to take them back and forth, you would have removed 40 to 50% of their actual expenses per month. Mm-hmm. So when you reduce people's expenses, they are more likely to be more content. But if you don't give them an option, if you have ever had to go to public service, we see some people actually don't have money to go home that day.
Yeah.
They're waiting to go with somebody.
They're always hitching rides with people. Yeah.
They're always hitching rides and all that. You can tell they don't look healthy. A lot of them don't look like they're happy. The kind of health system that exists for them is the lowest level at all. If any of them should fall sick with any terminal ailment, they're not going to get the best kind of care. All of these things is the evidence that we don't have good governance model. So we can't have the top tier of government being extremely taken care of because of their allowances, and then the rest of the public service is not doing extremely well. And see, on top of the fact that some of the PAMSECs and the DGs and of course the ministers get massive houses, 200 million naira cars, but the people that are living or working with them are getting 1% of all of this. So this is not possible anywhere in the world. Any country in the world, they will also be corrupt as long as they are not paid a living wage. And then attitude can be changed by the people who are leading. Look at Akunyili. Look at what he did, what she did in NAFDAC. Look at what even Professor Soyinka did when she established FRSC. These were regarded as organizations that were straight down the middle. You understand? So it is possible when the people at the leadership are very straight up, people following them are very straight up, and the public understands and accepts them and respects them. So I think a lot of ministers and commissioners and local government chairmen have to lead by example. Then the people will follow them, but if they're the ones who are corrupt, why won't everybody else be corrupt?
There was a linguist, I will never forget it. It haunts me till tomorrow. And I think that maybe because I was brought up to understand that whatever is being given to you to handle, do your best at handling it. And that's always been my mantra, whether it be school. I was a bookworm in school. When I got into journalism at an early age, I literally worked myself up. I would do everything and anything. I used to tell interns, or when I'm training people, I say, I went from sewing people's shoes to receiving their girlfriends, buying beer, buying food. I did everything literally till I got to where I got to. I did everything. I never complained because I knew what I was looking for. I was going somewhere.
That's right.
But then there was something when I became a full, state government worker. And I they will say, you too, they do. Is it your father's work? That's something that never left me. So they say, is it your father's work? It's government work. And I maybe because I was a bit too young to process it, but it never left me. And now I understand that there's this carelessness that I don't know how to call it, attitude we have towards government work because we think that there's no need for accountability. And how do we change that mindset? How do we? Because there has to be some mindset renewal if there be anything like that.
You see, every behavior we have is inherited. And I think it's because culturally, we are used to people in authority taking care of everything. Our own culture, our own tradition from our homes. So father has to take care of everything. The Oba has to take care of everything. The chief has to take care of everybody just follows. And so people don't pull their weight. And so when they get to the public service, the same idea, they wait and say, government will do this, government will do that. That's why in the last interview, I was trying to challenge the citizenry that, look, as long as we always wait for the top 1% to do everything, we're never going to grow as a nation. So America is a rich nation because it has a large number of millionaires, individuals who are paying taxes, who are able to employ people. I mean, you can imagine that the top 3 countries in this world are larger than half of the economy of Europe. You know, the apples of this world, you know, the Saudi oil conglomerate. These organizations are larger than the whole of Africa combined together in terms of GDP. So that shows that private industry can make a country great. So if we as individuals do that, but you see, in the public service, these people don't have any direction, any hope. By the leadership they also have. There's no corporate attitude to leadership, no corporate attitude to governance. They've probably just been in civil service all their lives. They don't know any other way. So we need to start bringing people from the corporate sector, you know, into leadership positions here and there. But you see, the resistance will be great. I know Fashola did it in Lagos. You know, he brought people from public sector and he plugged them here. And look at BRT, for instance. Now it's a legacy, you know, it's a private entity that is doing extremely well. But it was cut off, it was removed from Ministry of Transport so that it can exist on its own. I think that's what we need to be doing much more often. Look at National Oil. Once it was privatized, it became somebody's billion-dollar industry. So I think we have a culture of just thinking government money is available for us to use and waste. Because part of it is because a lot of people who are employed in civil service, just like the way people are employed in the army and everything, is all down to better character. You are a representative. You know, Lagos State announced of recent that Lagosians are not applying to take up their quota in the Nigerian army. So residents who are not indigenous are taking it up. Why should we even have such a system in the first place? Nigerian army should be filled up with people that want to serve the nation, period. Not because they are representing. So if they go there and they don't want to fight war, they'll go there and say, I don't want to fight war. Call the king and tell the king that he should remove me from the platoon that they are sending to Maiduguri. This is what I mean. So once the foundation is destroyed, what can the righteous do? How do we fix it when The structure that we have created, the foundation of the nation we have created is part of the challenge we have. And I think what we can do to fix it is that we should make sure that a generation, I'm very sorry, Maryann, there is no silver bullet that anybody in power right now for the next 10 years can use to fix Nigeria. They can only lay foundations.
Wow. Because the destruction is much. Yes, the destruction is really bad.
The destruction is across board everywhere. So you need a whole generation from primary school now. We have to start fixing them from primary school before they have the ability to think and they see, they observe, and they say, so this is the way. If you start changing them from when they are 6 years old, by the time they are 26, that's the whole generation. Then they might have an idea that, look, this country is worth fighting for. This country is worth dying for. But you must make sure you give them a social safety net. You said something when you were in the public service, when you were in Akwa Ibom.
Cross River.
And people used to say, sorry, Cross River. People used to say, why are you carrying this thing on your head? Why are you carrying this thing on your head? You know that when I was a young athlete representing Nigeria, my family used to say the same thing. These people, you go and fight for Nigeria. You will break your leg, break your hand, though. They will not take care of you. You see all those footballers that they are now poor all over the place. So I said, okay, no problem. So we agree that I will do my sports and at the same time I will go to school. But you see, prime example came. Now I represented Lagos State. I got a scholarship for winning gold at National Sports Festival. Never got a dime. Never got a dime. I got a medal published in the papers together with Chidima, Maryann and all the others for winning medal at the All Africa Games of 1987 and £8,000 for me to go to school in the UK. It never showed up.
Wow.
Published in the paper. It never showed up. So you can see why my parents will say, you see what we say? You will fight for this country, you do everything for this country, but when it's time for you to take your reward, some public servant, some civil servant, somebody somewhere will say, I beg, push him aside.
Wow.
So these are classic examples of why people can't be patriotic because those who are in authority will not even give you the opportunity to be patriotic.
Wow. This I'm going to think about what you just said while I take other calls. Wow. Wow. Hello, welcome to Hard Facts.
Good afternoon. Happy Salah, Barakadi Salah, our Maryann Okon.
Yes, welcome. Godwin.
God bless.
Yes,
Godwin from Lakwe.
Go ahead.
God bless your guest multiply in Jesus' name. He has spoken the truth and the system, the cat and worm in the system. Maryann, for instance, if you and I are to have a twin, baby, if you are a lefty and me probably lefty or right, note that one of those twins will take after the mother or the father.
Okay.
And that is just the system we are. If the top people, our so-called rulers, are genuinely doing the government work rightly, religiously, dedicatedly the way it's supposed to be, definitely the people below will follow the suit.
Okay.
Now, we have, for instance, the military retirees. The president publicly said they are going to be paid 20%, 35%, and whatever. After fighting, using your life for the rest of your life, and you are no more in the system, the army, the government to pay you your entitlement. Do you know, all to now, as we are talking, the so-called increment for pensioners and whatever, nothing has been done. Just the same way your guest spoke now. So these are the people who are giving their life to the service of the nation.
Okay.
With all sorts of situations. But at the end, where they are no more in service, are their entitlement be given to them?
Okay.
That is the country we are. But you see somebody who just 4 years, he will collect pension, he will call it car, call it whatever, as governor, as senator, billions.
All right. Godwin, I have to let you go. You've done 2 minutes, 29 seconds. Thank you very much. I have to take one quick call and then read some messages before we go because our time is almost gone. Hello.
Hello.
Koboko.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I know of a ghost worker. If they go work 10 o'clock, come by 2 o'clock. And the husband goes to open school.
He comes, at least the person goes to work now. Why you say he's a ghost worker? He goes to work now.
He goes to ask me, say, whether I see a ghost worker. This is supposed to ask me now.
Okay.
You don't ask me.
Go ahead. We they listen.
So the woman called the son. After 2 months, he got slap 5 female workers of her husband. I tell the son, he go close the school. But he asked me, say, whether I could see whether I see the ghost worker. I've asked him, say, am I a ghost? So I don't know. No, I've asked you, say, am I a ghost? Maryann, I went to you for 4 o'clock.
Okay. All right. Koboko, thank you very much for calling. I didn't know where that was going anyway. Hello.
Hello, Maria.
Good evening. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Wale from Yaba.
Wale, go ahead, please.
One thing I like about you is the quality of people you bring for the stations for interviews. Very quality people.
Thank you.
I listened to him 2 weeks ago, and he's back again. Let me just go. Like during the presidential campaign, you had one presidential candidate who reeled out the seminars after his university qualification. The seminars he has attended so many times, so many places. You understand? Our current president, has he ever told you he attended one seminar? No. A few weeks ago, Jimmy Disu and Sheriff, they discussed about Agberoism in Lagos State. And they also concluded that it can never be eradicated because the only they make from there ends up at the top.
I'm so sorry. I don't want to cut into your message, but you have just 25 seconds because we have to go on a break. Go ahead, quickly.
Just imagine that presidential candidate and this man that is speaking now team up together and say they want to clear the mess in this country. They will succeed because they are not selfish. They are very selfless. That is what we need.
Okay.
Maybe the next time we will learn to choose the right person.
All right. Thank you very much for calling. Mr. Ashiru, I want to say thank you so much for coming on the show. Always a pleasure. We always have great conversations, and I want to appreciate you for doing justice to this topic. Thank you so much. George Ashiru is the state chairman for the ADC here in Lagos. Thank you so much, Mr. Ashiru, once again for coming. Always a pleasure. All right. Well, Lagos, we'll take a quick break. When we come back on the other side, it's Checkpoint. Yes, I will be checking in with you for about 20 minutes because Euros are coming up on the other side of 4 o'clock. So stay with us. We'll be right back.
.3 Nigeria Info. We are more than just radio. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Nigeria Info FM. Check us out on Facebook at Nigeria Info 99.3. Follow us on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM and on Instagram at Nigeria Info FM Lagos for live updates as it happens. 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.